Hello everyone, my name is Dorian and welcome to Hungaroring. We are with the LMP2 doing the track guide, so I'm just going to show you guys a lap real quick and then we're going to take it corner by corner. We're doing it for the LMP2 fixed series, so we're using the fixed setup. Brake bias is at 50.4. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and if you want to see more of it, subscribe to the iRacing channel. Maybe check out my channel as well, link in the description below. Let's get on the track. Okay, so we're coming up to turn number 1, looking for a braking point. It's going to be right on this white patch of dirt. We're going to slam on the brakes right as we get to it. 100%, keep the car on this left white line here and straight line it for as long as possible here. All the way down into first gear, you're going to see me start to initiate the turn in just a little bit here, but I'm not going to fully commit to rotating the car just yet. We have this HUD on the left. As soon as we reach it, that's when I'm going to start to really turn in the car. And the reason is I'm trying to get a really late apex here. So the later you'll go, the better you'll be on exit. You really want to turn in quite late here. Sometimes I clip the inside curb. Sometimes I avoid it altogether and just hug the outside of it on this white line here. The reason being the inside curb is a bit 50-50 with this car. It's not very settled when it lands. So sometimes you get a good line on exit. Sometimes it just ruins it. So trying to avoid it might make you a little more consistent. 50% throttle, waiting on it just so I can open up the wheel, and as soon as I do 100%, you can see I'm squeezing it all the way back to 100, letting the car wash out all the way to the outside, catching the rear end a little bit on exit, and straight line on it. Now, as long as you keep the right tire on this sort of white line area, you're not going to have an off track, so keep that in mind. And taking it to turn number 2 now, all the way to the right. Now we have the 100. We're going to brake between the 100 and the beginning of this curve, so right in the middle of it, I would say, right around here. Again, peaking very high to around 100%, and then gradually releasing it because of the arrow washing off. And staying in second gear, so I'm going to turn in quite late here. Not going to turn in too early. Stay in second gear. Try to carry as much speed into the corner as possible. And because you're staying in second gear, you can actually accelerate very early. So you can see from this point on, I'm starting to give it a little bit of throttle. 40%, 50, 60. Staying on for a little bit, and now opening up the wheel all the way to 100%. Even if the car washes off a little bit, it's not a big deal, but because by the time you reach the next corner, you'll have so much aero, it's not going to be a problem. Up into third gear, nice and easy, clipping the inside curb, let the car wash out. Don't go too wide here, it will be an off track, keep that in mind. Now, this corner is quite tricky. It's very short. I mean, it's very fast, and you really have to react in a good, in really good timing. So we're gonna start braking right before the beginning of this curve, braking kind of diagonally to the outside here, trying to straight line as much as I can. 70% peak, I would say. Fourth now. So we downshifted from fifth, into fourth, and now into third as I need max rotation. So you can see. Fifth, downshift into fourth, and as I need rotation into third. I'm trying to clip this inside curb. You can actually clip a lot more of it. It does upset the car sometimes, so I'm trying to avoid it. Accelerating back out again. Use the green stuff, don't use the gray stuff. Gray stuff is an off track and will upset the car heavily as well. Straight lining it to the outside. You can see the end of this firewall, I suppose. And right before the end of it is when you start braking. So I brake kind of early, but sometimes I would brake like right around here and I'll still make it through the corner. I was just worried about having good mid-corner speed. So if you brake early, it'll be much easier for you to carry good mid-corner speed throughout here, all the way down to second gear. And now going back to the power. See how early I can go back now because I took it pretty easy on entry. Committed to 100%. I'm playing around with it. Keep the right tire on the white line. If you go over it, you will get an off track. Now we're going to brake diagonally again to the outside curb. Start braking right around here before the beginning of this curb. All the way down to second gear. It seems like you need first, but first really upsets the car on exit. There's not much to gain from it, and it will slow down your entry as well. The entry here is very fast, actually. You can see I'm starting to turn in quite early. Flipping this apex. And going back to the power. So trail braking all the way into this apex, going back to the power, accelerating back out again. And you're through. Using all of this gray stuff on the exit, it's really vital to maximize your exit and your entry here. Start braking right around here, beginning of the Rolex on, slightly before it. Really want to mitigate the understeer here and kind of dab the brakes, brake early, and try to keep the car towards the center. Don't let it wash out here. And immediately you can see I'm going back to the inside. So I'm very, very cautious with the throttle, not smacking it. Only now back to 100% and immediately lifting off again, dabbing the brakes. And I want to get a very late entry here, as late as I can really. And so I can go back to the power with in a sort of straight line. You can see the car is kind of dancing. I'm trying to rotate it on exit because it does have a tendency to shut in on you and you can wash out very far to the left here and get an off track and will ruin your lap. Now, you can short shift here from third into fourth. It will stabilize the car a little bit better. And again, straight line in to the outside. 50% peak, not a long braking point at all. Into third. And now going back to the power very, very early because it will rotate the car as you clip this inside curb. Opening up the wheel. This is as much as you can use the outside here without getting an off track. Now, braking to the outside again. Kind of a running theme here, so we're gonna brake well before the beginning of this curb. You can see right at the 100 here. Peaking pretty high, releasing it gradually, going all the way to the outside, turning in second gear, and only a very late downshift into first. You can see I'm trail braking and only now into first gear. And starting to accelerate, and I was a bit aggressive on acceleration here, so the car snapped. You can see I was having such a good line through here. And until this point, if I stayed on it for a little bit longer at around 60-70%, the car wouldn't have slid off like the way it does right now. And I wouldn't have to short shift into second to save it. So I short shifted, cost me a bit of time on exit here. You want to keep it in first all the way to max RPM. So just be a little bit smoother on acceleration on exit here. You'll do fine. Braking point here, right as we go under the bridge, we have the porta potty and the hut here to kind of remind you of that, and the shade in this weather. And you're braking diagonally again. We're trying to maximize our approach early into first gears just now, because I want that engine rotation to avoid using the brakes. You can see I'm very little on the brakes here, almost not at all. I'm trying to avoid altogether until I have to go back to the power. Now, from this point on, I'm trying to be as smooth as I can. So 40%, 50%, 60%. Only now, I'm trying to straight line it and go back to 100%. The exit here, it's amazing how much time there is to gain on this tiny little straight here. All the way to the left. We got the hut on the left. That's our braking point. So as we kind of parallel to it, start braking. Stay on the outside. I like staying on the outside here and grab a very late apex. Some people like to hug it the whole way through. I think it's not beneficial. I think you can get a better exit and carry more speed into the mid corner if you're trying to hug it from the outside. If you're trying to grab a late apex, sorry, from the outside. So again, in second gear here, no first gear. Don't use it. Don't need it. And starting to accelerate back out again. Clipping this inside curb, and as I open up the wheel back to 100%, try to stay committed. without letting the car wash out too much. You can use this much. It's actually fine. You can use a lot of this AstroTurf. Take advantage of it. And that will give us a 134.371. I hope you guys enjoyed this track guide. If you did, leave a like. And if you want to see more of this type of videos, then subscribe to the iRacing channel, or also check out my channel as well in the description. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.